You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
It's time to spin round the rim. This is Desert Planet Discs. Star Wars music in a single file. Here are your hosts, Carl Bayless and Greg Robertson.
He's no good to me dead.
Hot dang, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Desert Planet Discs. It is a new year, 2022. Can you believe it? Is it going to be more of the same? Who knows, but it's a celebration year. So let's hope things are a little bit more normal this year and we can get out to celebration and catch up with our friends from all over the globe. Kicking off the show this week was Caio Gaona, a drummer from Brazil. He does various compositions and records drums from movies, games, and TV series. That was his version of the Book of Boba Fett theme. The music originally composed by Ludwig Göransson, and that was an arrangement by Bridie, who you can find on Instagram.com/BridieOnline. And the video that you'll find on YouTube was edited by Bianca Yuyimura. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But you can find Caio Gaona on Instagram.com/Caio Gaona Drums. Following that up was the excellent departure of Boba Fett by Galactic Empire, taken from episode 2. You can find them on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, you name it. You will find Galactic Empire. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Galactic Empire, but first of all, I'm not here to talk about music and Star Wars on my own. I'm joined by my hetero life mate, Mooncat Drums, Carl Bayliss. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm very good, very good. It's been a busy week at work. I'm looking forward to chilling out now this weekend and recharging the batteries. Maybe putting some Matt Berry music on.
Oh, definitely.
How are you, sir? What's new with you?
Oh, the same. Yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Just checking the Star Wars weather app, and apparently it feels like Alderaan.
Yeah.
Obviously pre-toasting by the Death Star.
Let's see if we get meteorite showers this weekend.
As somebody said to me this week, this is what you call Motown weather, because at the moment it's 3 degrees and it's going up to 4 tops. Oh. There we go.
We need to get that sound effect sorted for you.
Yes.
Or you should sit there with the little
drum
there and hi-hat.
Yeah. But Galactic Empire there, starting out the show, and news has hit in the last couple of weeks that they will, fingers crossed, be coming on a European tour in June 2022. So, series of dates across Europe from June the 10th, where they start in Italy, Germany, taking in Munich, Bochum, Schaffenburg, Saarbrücken and Cologne, before heading on June the 18th into France to play in Clisson. And then over to good old Blighty.
Oh, Blighty.
Brexitania. The People's Republic on June the 20th with a gig in Manchester, then heading north of the Wall near yourself, June the 21st in Glasgow, June the 22nd in London, and then finishing off June the 23rd in Bristol. And if anybody makes it to Glasgow, London or Bristol, there's a very big chance you might spot either Greg or myself at one of those gigs.
Yeah, I'm thinking June 21st, I think, was around the time I should be seeing Faith No More, but unfortunately they've cancelled their tour.
Yes.
Get well soon, Mike. Hope you're doing all right, bud. So I might make it along to Glasgow. I think I might give that a go. Or Glasgow, or to our American friends, Glasgow.
Yeah. Or anybody who's got the new Darkness album, Motorheart. Glasgow, aye. Oh, aye. I need to give that album a listen, actually. I've not listened to that yet. Oh, it's brilliant album.
So, yes, go and check them out. I've not seen them live yet. I've obviously listened to both albums quite a lot. I'm intrigued to see them live. People have always messaged me going, oh, they're playing, you should try and get a gig with them. And it's like, oh, we'll see. But no, I think I'll try and go along to Glasgow.
Yeah, I'm torn at the moment between going to London and going to Bristol.
You should go to London, then you can torment Mr. Keeler when you're there.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
So we're only 10 minutes into the show, and that's our first mention of Mr. Keeler.
Mr. Keeler, yes. Although we'll try and keep the mentions down slightly from the Christmas episode. Which if we'd have had a Martin swear box, I think we'd have funded the Rancor ourselves.
I was going to say, speaking of failures, sorry, Martin, you're not a failure. We love you.
Almost surgical in the transition there. Yes. So since we last spoke, we've had the sad demise of the Rancor, the HasLab project that leaked early, unfortunately, and whether that hampered the actual announcement and the support for the project, I don't know. I don't know whether you've got any thoughts on. Well, the fact that it sort of leaked without a fanfare and everybody had already started to build up what they wanted it to be.
That definitely didn't help, but my big takeaway for Hasbro there is, because I was very, very keen, not so much on the Rancor, but I really wanted to get the Egon Spengler Proton Pack.
Yeah.
But the thing that stopped me doing it was, quite simply, the time of year. Don't put HasLab campaign that finishes like 2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because nobody's got any money and you have to pay up front for these things. It's not like, if it had been like an option for PayPal in 4 or 3, whatever, I might have done it. But the fact that it was like 2 weeks before Christmas, I was skint from buying Christmas presents and couldn't afford to back anything. So
and as you've touched on there as well, a lot of people have said, although they're distinct properties, there is a big crossover. I think there was a Transformers HasLab as well.
Yeah. G.I. Joe,
so there were several HasLab projects which toy collectors, forget franchise specificity, toy collectors were faced with the prospect of having to try and back 3 HasLab projects concurrently. I know several people, again, another mention for Martin, big Ghostbusters fan, big Star Wars fan. The Proton Pack got backed in a matter of days.
Yeah.
And then hit all of its
goals as well.
Hit all of its stretch goals. Whether the unfortunate leak of the announcement hampered it and people started to build up so much of an idea of what they wanted. Everybody was saying, the first stretch goal should be a Rancor keeper. And again, if you'd have timed it now, you could have had 2 stretch goals.
Yeah.
You could have had Malakili and Danny Trejo.
I'd be
2 Rancor keepers.
That was only way to get a Danny Trejo Rancor keeper.
Yeah.
I'd be throwing the money at it like this.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but I'm doing the old get the money off my hand thing.
That's it.
Come on, Danny Trejo is he's a treasure. He's Danny Treasure is Danny Trejo.
Yeah. So you think with a little bit, if you'd have pushed the timing back to after Book of Boba Fett had dropped, you're then hooking in people, not just your classic trilogy fans. And something like that as an exclusive, yes, you're probably going to release the figure further down the line in the main line, but, wow, you've already got your hook.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we discussed with Santa on the Christmas episode as well, if you'd have put a blurg in there as well, he'd have put them up.
I think, the sort of price point as well. I mean, in the UK, we kind of get shafted, so to speak, with the, it's $350 in America and it's £350 in the UK. It's like, well, there's a big difference between that price, UK and US. It's not the same, it's not 1 for 1. We're getting paying more for it. So they need to, it'd be nice to see them do something next that's, if they do another HasLab Star Wars project soon, that's not as much as the $350, somewhere in the middle. It's still kind of a premium item. It's a little bit more than your Black Series helmet, but a little bit less than what they're looking for the Rancor HasLab and the Razor Crest.
I think we've said before, if you were going to go Black Series, then something you could do potentially at a lower price point, but again, has got multiple hooks on it now, would be Jabba's throne room.
Yeah.
Jabba with the throne. You've then got crossover with your Book of Boba Fett. Maybe even interchangeable bits that come off the throne or whatever. Stretch goal of Bib Fat Tuna.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've got all the Boba Fetts to go on the throne, just need to...
Yeah.
You've got every possible Boba Fett you could,
except for one so far. Do we think we'll get a Sand and Sarlacc guts Boba just crawled out of the sand?
It's got to happen, hasn't it? Because they've got every other Boba but
I think just landing this week is the Mudhorn fighting Mandalorian. So sort of sand-blasted Boba is surely somewhere along the lines.
That Mark from Ash was sharing pictures of his dirty din, and it instantly put another song in my head. And apologies, listeners, this is what happens to me. The Michael Jackson classic, "Dirty Din Djarin." Dirty Diana, just made me Dirty Din Djarin when I saw that figure, and he posted, "Oh, look at my Dirty Din Djarin." I was like, "Dirty Din Djarin."
There we go. Expect that to come up on a future Darth Elvis album.
No.
But but on a more positive note, and for HasLab certainly, it seems that people are starting to get their Razor Crests. Some markets across the world are already receiving them, and a couple of people I know over here that have backed it, I think have received sort of like, we're being inundated with emails. It's on its way, don't worry. Sort of holding emails from, I think was it a Zavvi exclusive over here?
It was Zavvi here, because it was prior to Hasbro Pulse UK launching.
Yeah. So,
anyone's got a spare one and wants to send me one, then.
There you go. But,
Hasbro.
Which
I kind of regret not getting into that because, I love the Razor Crests. But then when season 2 came out and it got blown up, I was kind of like, maybe it's fine. But
just
it looks great.
Dig a hole in the garden, and there you go.
Yeah, there's some broken bits of tinfoil about.
That's it. That's me. That's me post-destruction Razor Crest.
Just need to buy the Boba Fett figure to stand over.
That's it. Go. Oh, look.
And speaking of Boba Fett,
yes,
since the Christmas episode, we've been spoilt with 4 episodes so far as we record this of Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
How are you finding it so far, sir?
A little bit of a roller coaster ride for me so far. Anybody that's interested in the Fantha Tracks reviews are going up, I think, on a Saturday or a Sunday. Pretty much the same as we did for Mando and Bad Batch. The whole team, or certainly a good number of the team, are all sharing their thoughts. So it's not just a single viewpoint on what one person thinks about the episode. You've got a whole range of opinions on there. Episode 1 and episode 3, I was kind of like, it's all right. Episode 2 was absolutely amazingly brilliant. And 4, which dropped this week, was good. It's brought me back onto, I can see where they're going now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like, it's been like Star Trek movies, like episode 1 and 3, not so good, but the even ones, 2 and 4, have been great.
Yeah. And in my review for this week's episode, next week we've got the Bryce Dallas Howard episode. And spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't yet seen episode 4, but there are some fairly large musical cues as to who may possibly be turning up at some point in the final 3 episodes of this season.
The 6 episodes directed by Mr. Filoni, so...
Yes, so you've got Bryce Dallas Howard, who her episodes of Mando, I think, were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And Lord Filoni is everything seemingly that he manages to put his hand to on the Star Wars tiller is pretty standout. Obviously,
from the feet of the master.
Yeah, obviously lots and lots of speculation as to whether the episode that he's directing is linked to the fact that it may see the introduction or the reveal of a character for whom he was responsible, shall we say, from some of the animated properties.
I'd love to see Embo. I'm going to say it now. Embo would be awesome. And it would make Mr. Keeler happy because he's a Cayuso, like Constable Zuvio.
There, oh, yes. Although we did get a Cayuso in, I think it was it the first episode?
I think the first one and 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Been in a couple episodes, just like in backgrounds and much like Constable Zuvio himself.
Yeah.
A background character.
I think they may have actually had more screen time than Zuvio.
They definitely did have more screen time.
Yeah. And somebody who's also getting lots of screen time, clearly Mr. Favreau, Mr. Filoni, and the executives at Lucasfilm are listening to the show, because we kind of get the reintroduction of Max Rebo.
Yes.
And
that's the best thing so far about the Book of Boba Fett, the return of Max Rebo.
A shredding guitar version of the Cantina Band song, and a droid who, we're putting it out there, I'm christening the little drumming robot R1G0. So it's kind of like Ringo. So there you go, folks. It's R1G0, even though it's an R5, really, I think. So, yes, that was really nice. And clearly there was a way off that sail barge. Yeah. Because Bib obviously got off, as did several of the Gamorreans, although they probably ran back looking at the weight they've lost.
That was a good thing, again, spoiler alert for episode 4, the fact that we got some fat Gamos again.
Yeah.
With more tusks and their classic costumes, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But it's also, I mean, it's great to see Black Kerstanton.
Yes.
Black Kerstanton.
The big mean Wookiee bloke.
Yeah, a big gladiator Wookiee.
Yeah.
Very cool seeing him in live action, and it's also pushed the price up on his introduction comic.
Yes.
So if you have Darth Vader issue 1, it's gone up in price.
Yes. Several comic collecting friends of mine have said, "Oh, yeah, I wonder if that will affect the price." Oh, yes, it has.
But speaking of Black Kerstanton, they just announced this very evening, this is 21st of January, we're recording this, Kerry Jones, who plays Black Kerstanton, is doing a signing with Team IE Autographs. Great service from them. Gilbert Rodriguez, who runs that company, I got a signing from him. I've had a couple of autographs through him. The last one being Giancarlo Esposito, Moff Gideon himself. So great service. He's got a signing coming up. Kerry Jones, who plays Black Kerstanton, and you can check his website out. It's not up for sale yet, but it's www.teamie, that's AYEEE, autographs.com. So go and check it out.
Cool.
And speaking of autographs, just gone up tonight as well. As I say, 21st of January, our friends at Star Wars Autograph Universe have posted all the inventory they've got from all the signings they've had in the last few months. So some incredible signings gone up. Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor. Marvel fans, you've got like Owen Wilson, David Harbour, all sorts of great names. We've got some Bad Batch autographs, D. Bradley Baker, some Visions autographs, George Takei, Clone Wars, all sorts. Go and check it out. It went on sale tonight. See what you can find. Yes. I'm too skint to buy anything at the moment, but I will be partaking in the Kerry Jones one for sure. I'm toying with the idea of sending my comic in.
Yes. Add to the value.
Yeah, and then eventually maybe get it graded and encased in plastic.
There we go.
Shall we have some music, sir?
I think the listeners have listened to us wax lyrical for long enough. Let's let them have a break and listen to the delightful sounds of friend of the show, Royish Good Looks. And this is a track that he released, I think it was just before Christmas. And this is The Chosen One.
He's the only human you know who can
And that was the chosen one by friend of the show, Royish Good Looks. Keeping up fantastic work, and you can check Roy as normal on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and he's got a podcast, the Royish Good Looks podcast, goes out fortnightly. Go and check him out on there as well. It's a great show, talking about his whole journey from his day job recording in studios to his Star Wars music. So go and check him out.
Yeah.
So you fire away, sir. You may fire when ready.
Who speaks first? You speak first, I speak first. So, moving on from Book of Boba Fett, much debate over what will be the next Star Wars project that we see landing on Disney Plus. Readers of the website over at fanthatracks.com will have no doubt seen the tease that was sent out by Lucasfilm to, I think it was to their employees, of Disney Plus projects, including a logo for an as yet unannounced or formally unannounced project under the name of Tales of the Jedi, which got comic fans very excited because obviously that's was it Dark Horse series?
That was a Dark Horse, back in the Dark Horse.
Yeah. So a lot of speculation.
Which interestingly have also just picked up the comic license again from ADW.
Yes. So be interesting to see whether that turns out, whether it's a comic project, although why it would be on as a vinyl record player. Yeah, record player that they sent out to their employees in this lovely box, which had got on the one side the logos for Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Andor,
Bad Batch, I think it was.
And then on the other side, I think it was Bad Batch. Oh, Indy 5. Indy 5 was on there. Yeah, and then on the animated side, I think it was Bad Batch, Visions, and this Tales of the Jedi logo. So interesting. Is it an animated project? Also interesting that Visions was on there, because if it's supposed to be stuff that's coming out in 2022, does that mean, as we kind of put on our wish list, does it mean we're getting a second series or a second batch of Visions animations?
I do hope so. I've started reading the book, the Ronin book, and I've been rewatching Visions as well recently, and just stunning. I just love it. And we're getting some merch from Visions as well, Funkos and some statues. So some of the statues look absolutely superb. I think Xavi had got some of them. Which were really nice. But yes, so what will be the next thing to drop? At the moment, I think again, bang up to date, I think there's some recent magazine articles and magazine covers that seem to be pointing towards we might get the Bad Batch as early as March. And we could well see, I think speculation is rife, that we could see Obi-Wan drop on May the 4th, or certainly around then. I believe May 4th is actually a Wednesday, so it would make total sense.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I mean, the other thing that's dropping in March is the Moon Knight TV series with Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, yeah. That trailer looks awesome.
Yeah, the comic for Moon Knight is fantastic. They relaunched it 2021. I think it was 2021, might have been end of 2020. I think it was 2021, and it's been really good. So
I've been having this conversation with several people that I know, some of whom are big comic readers, and it's not a character I really know, but the trailer for me did exactly what a trailer should do, which is make me go, oh, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Similarly, I've also I watched Eternals last weekend.
I'm halfway through it. I've started watching it.
Yeah, not the greatest of Marvel films, but then the Marvel stuff, Ragnarok, I think was absolutely brilliant, and Infinity War and Endgame were really well done. The amount they crammed in. The rest of them, I kind of view as like stepping stones in the story, and this is obviously another stepping stone into another element of the story. Again, not a comic property I'm really aware of.
I'm the same. It's not one I've ever read. So enjoyed the first half of what I watched so far. I'll catch up with I'll hopefully finish over the weekend.
Yeah, it's very much just the Game of Thrones alumni.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Got Kit Harington in there and various other people that you just think,
Kit, who we used to see pop up in my village now and again.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, because his wife is from this neck of the woods.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So if you know where Greg lives, you can stalk 2 celebrities at once, or 3 even. But there we go. And in other release news, we finally have a date this week for the long awaited and much delayed Lego Skywalker Saga game.
Yeah.
How excited are you for this, Greg?
I'm very well. I kind of lost my excitement for it because it's coming along. I kept announcing dates or general time periods it was coming out, and it wasn't coming. But now we've got a firm date. There was like a 6-7 minute long gameplay trailer, which looks ace. The eldest has been saving his pocket money up for this, so he's very excited to see. And it's great to see that there's going to be some sort of bonus stuff in there as well with Bad Batch levels and Rogue One and Mando, all this stuff getting included as well. So very excited. It's like a late Christmas present for us.
Yeah,
a pre-May 4th May Day 4th Star Wars Day. Yeah. Present for us. So
yes,
it's looking good.
Yeah, massively excited for that. Regular listeners will have heard us wax lyrical about our love of the Lego Star Wars properties, both the physical properties and the animated and games. And as you say, it's been a long time coming, but from that trailer that's dropped this week, it does look every bit as good. And you kind of think, they weren't just sort of trying to stall and say, we're trying to make it the best that we possibly can. You see some of the bits in that trailer and you go, they actually have really, really gone to town on it. All the elements that we already know and love from the previous Lego games, and now they've just taken it up a level with all the character building and ability building and all that sort of thing. It does look really, really fun, so I can't wait.
It looks good that you can obviously jump into kick off from any trilogy.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's a nice wee feature to be able to, you don't have to start at 1 to work your way through to 9. You can jump in at 1 or 4 or 7.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm excited about that. It's like I say, like a late Christmas present from several years ago.
Yes.
That you found in a box and just like somebody forgot to give to you.
There we go. And,
Speaking of Christmas,
yes.
Was Santa good to you, sir?
Santa was very kind. Yes. What did I get Star Warsy? From a certain co-host, I got a rather lovely Be More Boba Fett book and a proto-retro Stormtrooper.
Skittle Trooper,
yes. Thank you very much, sir. It was very, very welcomely received. What else did I get? My daughter bought me a Stormtrooper water bottle.
Excellent.
Which is very nice. And just out of shot, I'm going to try and... Obviously, this doesn't work for the listeners, but they can't even hear it because it doesn't make a noise. But yes, it's the TIE Fighter desk lamp.
Very nice.
Which was even better because it should be about 50 quid. And I found on jolly old Facebook Marketplace, somebody was selling it just before Christmas, and it hadn't sold and they reduced the price. So it was only just down the road, and I got it for 20 quid.
Ah, bargain. Nice.
And it works. It's lovely. And it's now, as Greg has just seen, sat on my desk in my office. So, yes, very, very good fun. Yeah, other than that, I didn't really get a great deal. I've spent more since Christmas sort of just scouring the sales.
As you do.
With Christmas money. So, yes. So I've picked up a couple of Hoth Troopers, Black Series, from, where was that from Sports Direct. £7.
Oh, wow.
So, so one of those has been broken out of his plastic prison.
The well-known toy shop, Sports Direct.
Yes. Yes. So, so I've got a couple of those. So one I've kept boxed, and one I've broken out because it's the one with the backpack that comes off and the
interchangeable faces.
Yes, interchangeable faces.
Many faces.
Yeah. Face off Star Wars or Game of Thrones. Zavi have also had some really nice stuff in a couple of sales. I've picked up the Empire Strikes Back, their exclusive cable guy, Boba Fett.
Oh, cool.
Which was originally, I think that was 25 quid. That's down to a tenner.
Wow. And
a really nice Star Wars tablecloth set.
Ooh.
Which is basically a big star cloth with the second Death Star on it. And then some placemats and some napkins, all like cloth. It's a really, really, really nice set. And that, again, I think that should have been about 35 quid, and it was down to, I think, $8.99.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So I have...
Star Wars Bargains brought to you by
Star Wars
Planet Discs.
Indeed. This will be on our QVC shopping podcast. The offshoot. So, yeah, and then this week, they've put a load of homeware stuff in another sale. So I've picked up some... retro, vintage style Star Wars figure, a pint mug, and a short tumbler, like a flip-top water bottle, and a couple of the sort of retro-styled glasses with all the sort of multicoloured
classic logo.
Yeah. But in like sort of yellow, blue, and orange sort of thing. It looks really nice, sort of retro kind of print on those. So yeah, I think there were various prices for all those bits, and it was like a bundle. If you bought 5 things, you got them for 20 quid.
Wow.
And the pint glass I think was up for about 10 to start with, and like obviously some of these things they bump the price up to start with, but the tumblers I think were sort of 7 or 8 quid each. And they're like 2 in a set, so that was quite a nice little bundle. How about yourself?
I was properly spoilt at Christmas this year, and it was a very nice Star Warsy Christmas for me this year. So, what did we get? We got the Ronin book from my father-in-law. Thank you very much. Wishful Drinking, Carrie Fisher book, which is excellent.
Yes,
I hadn't read that one before, but it's fantastic. I can highly recommend that. I got my Galaxy's Edge Kowakian Monkey Lizard, the nice rainbow-coloured one, puppet, which I've named Sarcastic Bum. So he's going to join me in the odd YouTube video, little kind of shorts, good old Sarcastic Bum. And the other thing, which came totally as a surprise, the wife revealed it later in the day, so it was... Lego Star Wars, the Imperial Light Cruiser from Mandalorian.
Very nice.
Which comes with Grogu, Mando, Fennec Shan, Moff Gideon, Dark Trooper, and Cara Dune Lego figures.
Very nice. Very nice.
I took my time building that. I was doing like a bag a day just to drag out the fun for as much time as possible. It's awesome. It's in my room upstairs, and I've ordered myself a little display case for that from Wicked Bricks.
Very nice.
Looking forward to getting that on display.
Cool.
And hopefully not knocking it off a shelf and
yes,
hundreds of pieces. thousands of pieces.
Yes.
But yeah, no, a very good Christmas, and I've been. I'm trying to think if I've bought anything since. I've had a few deliveries from our friend Dave3, all the cool stuff, some of the Bad Batch figures, and of course a purple helmeted stormtrooper, because everyone needs a purple helmeted stormtrooper. And of some additional figures to the vintage collection, the original vintage collection. I've got Warwick and General Lando from the last 17, kind of plugging in some gaps. I've got some accessories to get for them, but ever getting closer to completing the original lineup.
Yeah, you know what will be next then, don't you?
Droids and Ewoks.
No, the display case for the original 96.
Oh yeah, no. It's yes, that's been on. I've been looking at that for a while, and I almost bought one maybe last year actually. I say last year, 2 years ago to 2020. But I said to myself, there's no point buying it until I have them all, and I'll put it. That'll be my little treat when I have the full set and I've got all the accessories. I'll treat myself to one of those display cases. Yeah, they were at Farthest From, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But the guy that makes them was there. Drew, I think it is. It is Drew, yeah. I can't remember his surname now off the top of my head. But yes. Yeah, he was there, and I do believe, good chum, having said we weren't going to mention him too much, Mr. Keeler did actually walk away with one of said display cases. And it looks stunning. I haven't seen it in person, but the pictures look great, so I can't wait to see it. I was somewhat disappointed that he hadn't filled it with Zuvios. Well, you'd think that would have been the ultimate. Just like don't give him any ideas. I've got this wonderful display. That would have mean, of course, him taking all of his 3 3/4 Zuvios out of their book, their packets. So it'd only be about a fifth of them. It would. Still carded. Yeah. So, I think he's riding the curve now, expecting Zuvio to appear as the big bad in Boba Fett. You never know. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Indeed. Speaking of talking about Christmas, it's January. It's only 350 odd days till Christmas. Shall we have a Christmas song? Yes. Why not? And this was a late discovery, and it was a bit of a tough call as to whether we included it in the Christmas show or not. But it didn't make it into the cut for the Christmas show. But it's so good, we wanted to feature it tonight. So here is Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer, with All I Want for Christmas is an Original Jawa with a vinyl cape.
When October comes around and the children start to make their lists, they write to Father Christmas and ask for all manner of gifts. The latest Pixar exploitation toy makes them impatient for this, so they can unwrap it and proceed to smash it to bits. But I never wrote one myself, because I never saw my first choice on the shelf. They tried to help me when they bought me something else, but I don't go a lot on trills and elves. Because all I want for Christmas is an original Jawa with vinyl cape. Okay, all I want for Christmas is an original Jawa with vinyl cape. That's right. Or the original Neon-Numb, when they thought he was the size of a human. I remember as a flanner in New York City, perusing a toy store, then on a shelf it hit me. Could it really be, as I rubbed my eyes, small in size, a cloak without lines or creases, not cloth, but plastic in construction? Could this finally be the introduction to a dream years tried? I screamed inside because a chap only screams inwardly, you'll find. So I took the package to the large cashier, full of hope and ardent cheer. He leant in close and quietly implored, this is not the toy you're looking for. My good man, I said, you surely jest. It's not poorly dressed in a corny vest. Its cloak is as shiny as my Sunday best. I know, said he, but we've done the test. It's a reproduction, a homemade cape. I'm afraid, my friend, you'll have to wait another year for your Christmas wish. St. Nick's dished out another disc like this, when all I want for Christmas is an original Jawa with vinyl cape. Yes, all I want for Christmas is an original Jawa with vinyl cape. All I want original Jawa with vinyl cape. That's right. All I want for Christmas is an original Jawa with vinyl cape. Give me it.
This is Star Wars Santa, and you are listening to Desert Planet Discs, a gift all year round.
And that was Mr. B, Gentleman Rhymer. You can find him on Bandcamp. Just do a search and you'll find him on Facebook. I discovered this one on the Echo Facebook page, funnily enough, around Christmas. They were somebody pitched it on there because they're obviously talking about the original Jawa with a vinyl cape, which ain't cheap.
Nope, and he describes himself as a purveyor of chap hop.
Yes, I like that. Chap hop.
Yes, and do check out some of his other material as well, because it is exceptionally well put together, very good lyrically, and very true as a hip-hop fan in my youth. It's very, very, very true to a lot of the classic hip-hop. Eric B. and Rakim and Roxanne Shante and people like that. So, full force. So,
Singing about vinyl cape Jawas, did you see any vinyl cape Jawas on your journey to Farthest From?
No.
Or was Gus Lopez dressed as a vinyl cape Jawa?
No, although Dave Tree was dressed as Bull Gullet, which is definitely something that you need to search out the pictures for.
That's an improvement, isn't it?
It was, and Bull Gullet did know the truth. But Dave and Martin have, towards the latter end of last year, launched a podcast called Star Wars Spins, which is thoroughly irreverent. I think it's titled A Nonsensical Podcast About the Nonsense of Star Wars. And it's very funny. They've had some very good guests on.
Most guests.
Yes, mostly known to this parish. So, yes, Greg was a guest.
It was.
They've also spoken to
Santa,
who was on our Christmas episode as well. So, unbeknown to us, Star Wars Spins was his first podcast, so that makes us his second ever podcast.
Indeed.
There you go. So,
if he doesn't go on another podcast, we were the last podcast.
Last podcast he ever went on, yeah. So one of the two of us obviously put him off podcasts for life. And they've spoken to various of the people from certainly several of the Fantha trackers, Paul Naylor, Mark Newbold, Claire. They may have spoken to me, but I think that episode has been consigned to the bin. The annals of history.
I've heard said podcast, and I have some concerns about my podcast partner.
Yeah, I think it's one of those.
We'll talk about that because
Yeah, too shocking for broadcast. I think is the which if you listen to Star Wars Spins and some of the stuff that does make it to broadcast, you'll realise just how shocking some of my answers must have been. But there we go. So they did a live version of Star Wars Spins on the Saturday evening. So the weekend of the 11th, 12th of December, down in Fordham Bridge, which is a beautiful part of the world on the edge of the New Forest. So Saturday is more about almost like a mini convention, a bit of a fun Star Wars fan day. There's a series of games. So there's a coconut shy where you're throwing little mini Death Stars at planets to try and destroy the planets. There was a Porg shooting range. So you got little Nerf guns to shoot little Porgs who, because the whole event was loosely themed on the 5th anniversary of Rogue One, the Porgs were all wearing Shore Trooper helmets.
Nice.
There's the ever popular Sarlacc pit game,
yes.
The Pit of Carcoon, where you've got I think they were the Zuzu hamsters that were a big craze a few years back. that have been lovingly redecorated as banthas, and you've got a table with a big sarlacc pit in the middle, which we chucked a little Lego Boba Fett figure in just for added realism. And the aim of the game is these things sort of go off on their own and bounce off the sides, and there's all tentacles coming out of the sarlacc, and you basically win by your little bantha not falling into the sarlacc. So that's always popular with kids, young and old. And then there was a few more modern era Star Wars traders. Obviously, Dave himself runs all the cool stuff, so he got a large couple of tables with lots of vintage collection, Black Series, you name it, and there's a couple of other things, and then a couple of guest signers, not really Rogue One related directly, but Brian Herring, the man behind the ball, as it were, for BB-8, but has done, as I found out over the weekend, a myriad of things, spitting image, lots of puppet work, and has been really sort of at the forefront of a lot of the creature side of things in the Disney era. Neil Scanlon dropped in to do a talk, and also there for the day was Guy Henry, who I ended up chauffeuring back to his lovely abode in the New Forest on the afternoon. So that was a very fun journey. And my parents are both massive Holby fans, so I sort of, he'd been out of the car literally 2 minutes, and I'm like on the phone to them going, "You will never guess who's just been in my car." Yes, Guy Henry. And that was good fun on the Saturday, and then the Saturday evening was the Christmas meal. Brian did a talk. Gus then did a talk about his absolutely awesome collection. Gus Lopez, who I think Dave said holds the record for the furthest away person, literally the person farthest from. I think he's been 4 times now, and he flies over from Seattle. So, he's telling us some tales of reclaiming one of the original Death Star models from like a junk store, and it had been left outside and stuff. It's just absolutely amazing stuff that he's collected over the years. Lots of screen-used props and costumes, and just a man with his finger in many pies. And then on the Sunday, it was the vintage collecting fair, which is always popular. Really, really busy, which was nice to see, and it was busy all day, which is nice to see. Obviously, where we've come from in the last couple of years, there was a lot of trepidation. Just before Christmas in the UK, we were unsure what the restrictions were going to be in the lead up to a show like that. The Omicron variant was just peeking its head out, so people weren't sure whether the government were going to put more restrictions back in place. Fortunately, they didn't, and even more fortunately, Star Wars collectors seem to be out in force. No pun intended. And
you got a little drum kit, telling you.
We do, yeah.
Have you drum kit?
I'll sort that out for the next episode. And so it was really nice to see, both from the point of view of that's now 2 of these sort of vintage events. We did Echo Live in August and Farthest From, and both have been really well supported by collectors and the general public as well. So it's really nice to see that the collectors are still out there and still willing to attend events like that. So really, really nice that it was such a great success. And good weekend was had by all.
Fan-dabby dozy. Speaking of, you mentioned Echo Live there. There's the next Echo Live event's been announced for 2nd of April.
2nd of April, yeah. Back in Redditch in the UK at the Kingfisher Shopping Centre. No guest announcements or anything like that yet, but I would expect they will be forthcoming in the next few weeks. So stay tuned to fanthatracks.com and keep an eye out for guest announcements, which we will share. And I know the early bird tickets, which are always popular, are of sale already. So yeah, it gets you into the event a bit before the general public are allowed in, and the money helps go towards some of the costs of putting the show together. So well worth supporting. And we also have, I think it goes live, in fact it may have even been the press launch today. May the toys be with you. Again, regular listeners will have hopefully recall, I think on Making Tracks actually, I spoke to the curator of that exhibit, Matt Fox, when it came to Worcester, not far from me, pre-pandemic. Yeah, that's now at the hub at St Mary's in Lichfield, so literally a stone's throw away from Mr Newbold. So I know he's heading down to get some interview audio and stuff like that with people, and hopefully we'll be speaking to Matt about the exhibition and what the plans are for it going forward. So if you're in or around the Lichfield area, definitely get yourself across to May the Toys Be With You. It's a really, really brilliant exhibition, not solely around toys, but obviously largely focused on the vintage toy collection. When we were in Worcester, he'd got the sail barge, the HasLab sail barge, but he'd put original 96 3 3/4 figures to sort of fill it out, as it were.
Fill it out.
That was on display in a beautiful glass case. So if you'd like to see what the HasLab sail barge looked like in the flesh, but haven't got the spare pennies to be able to afford it on the resale market, then what better way than to get yourself along to an exhibition where somebody's lovingly got it on display for you.
Come up to Scotland so I can come and see it.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm sure we'll Mark will try and find out from Matt where the exhibition is due to go. Obviously, with the pandemic, I know that I think just before the pandemic hit, they were due to go to, I think it was Great Yarmouth, somewhere around that way, which I think they ended up doing. But then the rest of the calendar for it has obviously been pushed back. So again, as fans, if we get out there and support these sort of things, then it helps the organisers to put on more events, and that can only be a good thing for fans of both collecting and the films as well. So
indeed, get out there and support, folks.
Yeah.
Speaking of support, we're going to be involved in a Star Wars podcast day on 7th of February.
Yes. So last year, the guys and gals over at the Star Wars podcast Facebook page put together a podcast day where I think it was somewhere in the region, 80, 90 podcasts put out shows and content under the banner of Star Wars Podcast Day. And we're delighted to have spoken to the guys, and we're going to be involved along with Making Tracks in the event this year, which should see shows launch on or around February the 7th. So obviously our episode will be both on their channels and on the regular Fantha Tracks feeds as well. So maybe a little bit shorter than our usual episode, because we're gonna be speaking. Obviously, one of the aims is to promote and draw in new listeners. So we'll be doing a little bit of chat, a little bit of music, sort of explaining a bit about what we do. But there'll be think we're trying to line up a couple of exclusives, so it won't just be a filler episode for our regular listeners. So stay tuned for that one.
Indeed, and that brings us to the end of the show.
Oh, we should do this more often. We should do this more often. The time has simply flown by.
Time's flown by.
Indeed.
And I think this is the perfect song to round off this episode. We've spoken a lot about Boba Fett, and one of the things that's standing out for me so far on Book of Boba Fett is the Tusken Raiders and the particular tribe that Boba's found himself with. And it brings me back to think about this great discovery of a band we found on Bandcamp. The band's called Bantha Rider, based out of Poland. And this ticks a couple of boxes in this, because obviously we've got Boba Fett with the Tuskens, so you've got some Banthas. We're Fantha. We're Fanthas. And this song is called The Wada Wanga, about Bib Fortuna, who we also see in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So what better way to kill off the show? Round off the show.
What better way to
round off the show?
Bib Fortuna
with Bib Fortuna.
Yes.
The Wada Wanga. So be sure to give Bantha Rider a follow on Facebook, and you can buy their music on bantharider.bandcamp.com. They've got t-shirts and cassettes and vinyl and all sorts of good stuff on there.
Some very lovely t-shirts, actually. As it's Bandcamp Friday today, as we record, I was looking at them earlier thinking, I might make a purchase.
Yeah, they're really nice artwork on their releases as well, featuring the Tuskens front and centre where they belong.
Indeed.
So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Bantha Rider, The Wada Wanga!
Thanks for listening to Desert Planet Discs. If you want to stay part of the action and up to date on all the latest Star Wars news, check out the Fantha Tracks app via the App Store on your mobile device.
You can contact us via email at radio@fanthatracks.com. Comment, like and share on any of our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks, and be sure to subscribe, leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice.
Don't forget to head to fanthatracks.com/radio, home of Fantha Tracks Radio, and follow us on our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks, and bookmark fanthatracks.com for all the latest in Star Wars news.